The Atlanta Braves let a couple of games get away from them in Philadelphia, and they also let the NL East get away from them as they dropped 7 games back to the Phillies with just 4 weeks left to go in the season. We'll discuss everything that happened over the weekend in Philadelphia. We'll also have our Miners Monday episode. Caminiti makes his professional debut. All that on today's episode of Locked On Braves. So let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, and welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Jake Mastriani. You can follow me on social media at Shortstop Ball. Check out the podcast there at LockedOn_Braves. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube if you're new. Hit that thumbs up button so others can find us. And if you're an everydayer, let me know down in the comments section below. Always enjoy hearing that from you. And thanks to everybody who makes Locked On Braves their first listen of each and every day. On today's podcast, we're going to break down everything that happened in Philadelphia over the weekend. A tough series lost, some well-played games. I thought some well-pitched games from both sides. A close series loss with the Braves do take a series loss. A couple of those games they let get away from them. And in my opinion, the NL East is over at this point, and it's time to focus on the wild card, which the Braves still have a very good shot at. But after that series loss, things are much tighter. So we'll get into all that. And it is a Monday's episode, so we'll get into everything happening down on the farm as those seasons are about to wrap up. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. It was a tough task for the Atlanta Braves this weekend. You knew if they had any chance of getting back in the NL East, they had to, at the very least, win this upcoming series or this past series in Philadelphia, a 4-game series against the Phillies in their house. It was a tall order to ask of the Atlanta Braves, but in retrospect, I feel like they probably could have, maybe should have won this series. They end up losing it, only winning the one game on Friday night, a 7-2 winner there, the most dominant win, I think, of the whole series, although you could say it was Zach Wheeler's performance. Maybe that one was pretty dominant too, but the other 2 games in this series, the Braves had a lead late after the 5th inning and blew both of them. And we talked a lot about Thursday's game already. We talked about that on Friday's mailbag episode. If you haven't listened to that, make sure you go back and do so. That one was, I think, a direct result of just the bullpen management in the series before that. So you chalk that one up to just bad timing and not having your full arsenal available to you out of the bullpen. Sunday's game, we'll talk about the 6th inning. Should you have taken Schwellenbach out or not? But ultimately, that loss comes down to the offense. And before we get into that, though, let's stick with the bullpen part of this, because the Braves bullpen in this series was fantastic. Outside of Thursday night, when Snitker was pretty much forced to use the C team, the bullpen was fantastic. If you have those guys rested and available to you on Thursday, the Braves get at least a split of this series. Now, on Sunday, you had the 6th inning situation, and I posted this on X before the 6th inning started. I said, I know Schwellenbach is throwing a great game, but he's about to face the top of the order for a 3rd time. It is a close game. You have to have somebody ready. Have somebody ready. Not once he gets in trouble, which is what happened. Once he got in trouble, then you got somebody ready, but have somebody ready for when he gets in trouble. Now, I say all that to say I'm fine with the decision to leave him in. He was throwing the ball well. He got 2 outs very quickly to start that inning. And then Trey Turner, soft little hit the other way. Bryce Harper stays back on a pitch, flips it out the other way. Good swing. And a lot of people are going to look at the exit velocity of that. And I'm typically one that says, that's just batted ball luck. And to a degree it is, but it's also just him staying back and flipping the ball the other way for a nice, easy single and keeping the inning alive. But neither one of those were, on terrible pitches. It didn't look like Schwellenbach had lost anything at that point. So I'm actually okay with the decision to stay with him. But still, if you're treating this like a game you must win, which all these games going forward, you should treat like you must win. Your season is on the line every single day. And I think if this is a postseason game and you're treating it like must win and your bullpen is rested and ready to go, it is a great bullpen, which they showed you throughout the rest of this game, I think you go to somebody there. I think you recognize a rookie who's gone beyond his limits. It's the first real bit of trouble he's faced this whole game. And maybe he's starting to run out of gas a little bit. Look, only had thrown 80 plus pitches. And again, let me preface it by saying I'm fine with the decision to stick with him. But what concerns me is you didn't even have somebody ready to go in case of this situation. That is what concerns me. Because, look, I know the pitch count was low, but again, you're facing a team, or you're facing the lineup for the third time. You're facing the top of their order again. A lineup that you haven't gotten a lot of swing and miss against. Only 6 swings and misses on the night for Spencer Schwellenbach. You were getting a lot of weak contact, which is great, but it's a lineup that was putting the ball in play against you, and you're about to face the top of their order again. The fact that nobody was ready in case of that situation is what scares me. I think as a manager, that is bad. That is bad managing. I think you have to have somebody ready, even if you're okay with Schwellenbach pitching to Castellanos there, and I am. You just got to execute that pitch. You can't throw a pitch in the zone to Castellanos once you're ahead 0-2. You just can't, and that's just bad execution by Schwellenbach. But again, what scares me and concerns me the most is that you didn't even have somebody ready in case of that situation. The way the inning played out, getting 2 quick outs, not giving up any hard contact. Again, I'm fine with leaving him in, but you got to have at least somebody ready at that point. Bullpen was great after that, outstanding. The only question I had the rest of the way is, should you have given Joe Jimenez another inning? He looked fantastic in his inning. You knew you were going to have to get Raisel Iglesias probably to pitch 2 innings. Jimenez didn't throw a lot of pitches. Why not have him go out there for a second inning? Maybe that's just not something that he's comfortable doing. I know he's thrown multiple innings a couple of times this year, or at least an inning plus. But that was the only critique I had the rest of the way, except for bringing in Grant Holmes to face Nick Castellanos, who already given up a home run to, and then you call a fastball. You get 2 strikes on Castellanos. Why are you throwing him a fastball? And I get it. Maybe Travis wants that fastball up and out of the zone to then set up the slider down and away again. And maybe that is a thought process there. If that's the case, Grant Holmes, you cannot throw that fastball anywhere near the strike zone. I still think that's just a wrong call anyway. I think you just need to spam sliders. If you walk them, you got a base open, you walk them. But that's just poor. The call to go with take Bummer out and throw Holmes, I think is questionable too, because you could just have Bummer throw to Castellanos, throw some pitches out of the zone, and then you got a lefty on deck and you take that situation. But if you're going to bring Holmes in, just spam sliders. I don't understand the decision there. I don't understand the pitch calling either in that scenario. But either way, that game ultimately comes down to the fact that the offense had 5 straight innings where you had the leadoff runner on base. 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, you had the leadoff runner on. One of those innings, it was Whit Merrifield. You choose not to run with him, and you ground into a double play. And then in the 10th and 11th inning, you have the Manfred runner on second base to start the inning, and you can't score one of them either. Michael Harris comes up in the 10th. You got a lefty up. You're thinking just pull one to the right side. You've done it plenty of times in your career. Just roll over to the right side. And he can't do that. Olsen does it. To his credit, he does that in the 11th. He moves Ozuna over, one of the slowest runners on the team, but you've already used Luke Williams, and you didn't run with him either. You call in Luke Williams to pinch run, and then you don't run with him either. It's just there's some decisions in this game, and look, I love Snit. I am not here trying to start the fire Snit train. I'm not part of that train, but there are some questionable decisions happening in these close games right now that I just don't get and don't understand. But either way, the 11th inning, Olsen brings him over, or gets Ozuna over to third. Travis d'Arnaud comes up. He can't bring him in. And it was just time after time. You had the 9th inning. You had bases loaded. And this is ultimately the game right here. And there's a lot of people you can blame. But you have bases loaded, 1 out. Matt Strom on the ropes. And Orlando Arcia has one of the worst at-bats I've ever seen. You just go up there and swing at 3 pitches. They might have all been out of the zone. At the very least, they were all questionable pitches. I know the last one was up and away out of the zone. You swing at all 3 of them in that spot and pop out. That is just a situation of a ball player having a terrible approach, trying to do way too much and letting the moment get to him, letting that crowd get to him. I know he wanted to go up there and shut all those fans up who have been booing him all series and hit a grand slam. I just need you to put the ball in the air somewhere deep, not on the infield. Just a terrible at bat. And again, you can talk about the bullpen decisions in this one. It comes down to the fact that this offense could not score one run despite having a leadoff base runner for 5 straight innings, and 2 of those innings being a runner starting on second base. That's what frustrates me about this season, because the pitching staff for this team is good enough to win, and it's good enough to win a World Series. This is a World Series winning pitching staff, starting rotation and bullpen. I believe that. I truly do. But I just cannot trust this offense against good pitching. And look, they faced good pitching. And Saturday and Sunday, you got the 2 top starters from the Phillies, and you got some of their best arms out of the bullpen. They faced good pitching. But that's what scares me, is this Braves team cannot manufacture runs against good pitching, and they are going to waste what is a World Series winning type of starting pitching, or pitching in general, bullpen as well. That's what I think frustrates me the most about this team, is that the pitching is good enough to win and go deep into October. And I'm afraid this offense, with all the injuries, is going to waste that. And that will be highly unfortunate for this Braves team and its fans. A little bit more I want to get into from the weekend series, and then we will turn the page, get into our Minors Monday part of the episode, where we got Caminiti making his debut. We'll talk about the rest of the series and that here next. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and we have something a little bit different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook. Also, make sure you visit FanDuel.com/playsafe for tools and resources to help you stay in control of the way you play. Again, that's FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. Thank you for making Locked On Braves your first listen of today. Make your second listen to Locked On MLB podcast, where Sully is getting you set up for the postseason stretch as well. Everything happening around Major League Baseball. You can check that out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It is your team every day. Tomorrow, we're going to take a look back at the month of August, which showed some promise, some really good things happening in the month of August, and what's ahead next. The Braves are about to come up on a stretch of games where they have to take advantage. If they're going to get into the postseason, they have to take advantage of this 9-game stretch that they have coming up. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's podcast. But I want to get back into the weekend series a little bit and talk about everything going on at the plate offensively. We talked about how bad they were on Sunday, especially in the latter part of that game. On Saturday, it's just you faced Zach Wheeler, who's one of the best pitchers in the baseball, and like as great of a season as Chris Sale is having, and he is still the front runner to win the NL Cy Young. Zach Wheeler's making it get really close right now. If he finishes like he pitched on Saturday, it's going to be a real tight race for that NL Cy Young, but hopefully Sale continues strong down the stretch as well. He certainly hasn't done anything yet. Now, as far as offensively, Arcia Murphy had a good game on Friday, and I am laughing because, look, Travis d'Arnaud had a hit in this game, a good at-bat that led to a run. Again, when I have this conversation about Sean Murphy and Travis d'Arnaud, you all know that I'm a big believer in Sean Murphy. I think he's going to be a really good catcher, can be a really good catcher. It's just the decision-making and some of the use of him. And look, Schwellenbach threw a good game. I'm not saying that Travis d'Arnaud can't call a good game. I think Sean Murphy calls a better game. I think he's a better defensive catcher. And I don't know many people that will argue that fact, but it's somewhat hilarious to me that Sean Murphy has one of his best games in a while on Friday. He goes deep, he walks twice, and you give him the next 2 days off. What are you doing with this guy? It's just everything points to the fact that Travis d'Arnaud is the #1 catcher right now, and maybe that's the right call. Again, I'm not sitting here trying to really defend that or argue that. It's just I feel like Sean Murphy should be your guy. He has a great game. I feel like he's the better defensive catcher. He calls a better game, and then you give him 2 days off. It's just I'll let it go. But again, I had to mention that one more time. But he and Arcia had good games on Friday. Unfortunately, didn't last for Arcia in the rest of the series. Olson continues to make really good contact. Even an 0 for 4 on Saturday, he had 2 hard hit balls. He got robbed at third base. He had a home run taken away from him. So Olson has still been swinging the bat really well. Had a hit on Sunday. And again, at least move the runner over to third in the 11th inning, what you want it to do. Obviously, we want Matt Olson to hit home runs, but at the very minimum, at least he moved the runner over. But just two runs in the final 2 games of that series. Again, the offense was playing good coming into Saturday's game, but then you run into some good pitching in Wheeler and Nola, and this offense goes back to the offense we've seen for most of this season. And again, it's just the biggest issue I have with Sunday's game is that the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, you get the leadoff runner on, and you can't do anything with that. You have the leadoff runner at second in the 10th and 11th, and you cannot score one single time. It is just this offense. You just can't trust it. You can't. And they are going to waste what has been a really good pitching staff. Ronaldo Lopez, great in this series. Max Fried, I thought he was good, not great. Schwellenbach, I thought he was great. Just a couple of mistakes really for the pitching staff in this series. And we probably wouldn't be talking about them if this offense was, somewhat decent in this series. But you look at the Thursday game, and it's really just a couple of mistakes. Charlie Morton leaves a curveball up. Brandon Marsh gets it up in the wind stream, takes it out. Grant Holmes throws a fastball right down the middle to Castellanos. And then on Sunday, Schwellenbach hangs a slider to Castellanos in an 0-2 count. Grant Holmes throws a fastball right down the middle to Castellanos again. It's really, you can look at 4 pitches in this series that if Braves pitchers execute, they win. But I'm not trying to put this on the pitching staff. I promise you, especially Sunday's game, that is clearly on the offense. But you are expecting a lot out of this pitching because that's what's going to win you the games. The defensively, Michael Harris made one of the most insane home run robberies that you're ever going to see. I thought it was a great catch on Saturday. It's in a 3-0 loss, so it's hard for me to get too excited about it, but the catch was just fantastic. And then you didn't turn a double play in the 11th. I think that's a situation where Luke Williams got inserted into the game. There is a lack of communication there. Before that play ever happens, Luke Williams has to know who's covering the bag. If the ball is hit to me, who am I throwing to? And he gets the ball and has no idea who he's throwing to because Witt's not over there. He's playing, far away from the bag and the shift that they have. In my opinion, that ball has to go to Arcia. It's a tougher throw, but it's an easier play for Arcia once he gets it because he's a little bit closer to the bag and his momentum's going to first base. But either way, whoever you're going to, you have to know that before the ball ever comes to you. So maybe it's just a situation, Luke Williams not in there a lot, miscommunication, something happens there, but it can happen because that cost you potentially the game. And look, who knows if the Braves offense ever would have scored, but that should have sent you to the 12th inning. You made the pitch to get out of that inning. Aaron Bummer makes the pitch to get out of that inning, and you don't execute it, and you don't turn the double play to get out of it. So again, that's just a lack of communication, just a little thing in this game that didn't work out, that the Braves didn't execute, that they failed, that led to them losing the game. There's a lot of things you can point to. It's not just one thing. And again, maybe it doesn't matter because this Braves offense might not have scored anyway, but that's a play that's got to be made. You make a big pitch against a really good hitter in a big spot. You get the ground ball that you want. That's got to be turned. And you have to know that before that ball ever comes to you. Before it ever comes to you. I mean, that's little league stuff. You got to know where you're going with the baseball. Who's going to cover the bag? You see pitchers all the time when a runner gets on first. They turn around and look at the middle infielders. Who's going to be there? Who's covering the bag? You got to do that with your position players as well. Luke Williams has to know who's going to be covering the bag. Who does he go to the ball with if he gets it? Also want to talk about Jorge Soler. He has been awful. He had a good little stretch in Colorado, which a lot of hitters do. He had some good hits on that road trip, then obviously had the hamstring injury and has not been very good since coming back. And it's the guy that's batting second in your lineup who, like, he's taking some walks here or there, but it's a guy that you're also expecting to come with some big hits, and just felt like he came up in a lot of big spots in this series and just could not come through. And you had Whit Merrifield batting at the top of the order, and after that 5-for-5 game, he looked awful the rest of that series, rest of this road trip. And now you have to move him down in the lineup. And it's a revolving door at the top of this order this year. And it's been a big reason why I think this Braves offense has obviously struggled so much. When you take out a Ronald Acuna Jr. and an Austin Riley, and you're trying to fill it in with a Whit Merrifield and a Jorge Soler, and even putting in a Michael Harris, who I love, and I think he's going to be great and be an all-star one day. It's been up and down for him this season. I know he had the home run on Sunday night, which was great, but it's just you haven't been able to find that right mix at the top of the order. And like I was good with the decision. I said that before even the decision was made. Move Whit Merrifield up to the top and just ride the hot streak there. Unfortunately, that hot streak ended after he went 5 for 5. But you just cannot find that guy at the top of the order without Acuna to really get this lineup going. And it's been part of big struggle for this team offensively this year. But putting all that aside, again, just a tough series. But I think if you take a step back and you look at it, the Braves should not really even be on par with the Phillies, in my opinion. I know the Phillies have struggled in the second half, but you just look at the lineup for the Braves and compare it with the lineup over there with the Phillies. This should not even really be in a competition, but your pitching was so good that you had a chance to win all 4 of these games. The pitching was so good, you could have swept this series if you got some decent type of offense and if you had your full bullpen ready to go on Thursday. You could have swept this series. So I think you take a step back and look at it that way. Maybe it gives you some positive vibes going forward that they're right there against one of the best teams in baseball, which the Phillies are. Again, I really look at their struggles in the second half. I think it's a team that's just still one of the best in baseball. You got, and they were coming after you in that series. This was the Phillies' chance to say that the East is over. You got no chance. We're running away with this division. We're not letting you back in it. This was the Phillies' chance to do that. So they were up for the task, and they certainly brought it, and they came away with the series win, and they did, in my opinion, lock up the NL East. It's over. Braves are not coming back. Mets are not coming back to win this division. The NL East is over. The Braves' run of 6 consecutive NL East titles, that streak has ended. The Phillies have won it. They won it this weekend. Braves got to focus on the wild card going forward. Again, we'll talk about that a lot more on tomorrow's podcast. But to finish up this one, we're going to take a look at the minor league level because I want to end it on a positive note. Caminiti makes his professional debut. We'll talk about how he and others did next. You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event, and you don't when you use Game Time. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And for this upcoming Labor Day, so today, while you're listening to this on Monday, Game Time has an exclusive sale for the Dodgers at Diamondbacks game on Labor Day. You can get tickets at 50% off, limited availability and supply. So if you're out there in Arizona looking for a game to go to on Labor Day, check out Game Time. You could get a great deal there. I'm looking for a great deal on this upcoming Sunday's game in Atlanta against the Blue Jays. I'm going to be making the trip to Atlanta for that one, and I'm checking out Game Time constantly to get that best deal. I got my eyes on one. Don't you take it. But if you want to go to that game or other Braves games, you can use Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, it is a Monday, so let's get into our Minors Monday segments. We only got a couple of weeks left of this with the minor league baseball season quickly approaching the end. Caminiti, who MLB Pipeline now ranks as the top prospect in the Braves system, he made his professional debut, went 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, no walks, 1 earned run, and 4 strikeouts. And according to Garrett Spain on social media, who we've had on this podcast before, one of the best out there in covering the Braves minor league system, he said that Caminiti was sitting in the mid-90s, getting up to 96, throwing strikes, and able to mix in all of his pitches. And that's exactly what you want to see. That was one of the questions I got on Friday's mailbag episode. What do you want to see from Caminiti? Like, he's going to get maybe one more start. We're probably going to get a total of 6-7 innings from Caminiti. So you're not going to have much to go off of. I really just want to see, what does the velocity look like? How does he command his secondary pitches? Can he throw them for strikes? That's all I'm really looking for, especially for a high school pitcher. So for him to throw 3 innings, not walk anybody, get the 4 strikeouts, be able to throw all of his pitches, that's all I wanted to see from Caminiti. AJ Smith-Shawver had 2 starts last week, 1 okay, 1 good. His first one, he went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 7 hits, but walked 4 and 5 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. And then in his second start of the week, he went 5 innings, only allowed 3 hits and a walk, no earned runs, but only 3 strikeouts in that one. Hurston Waldrop, 5 innings, gave up 7 hits and 3 walks, but only 1 earned run and only 4 strikeouts. So maybe the Gwinnett Stripers were facing a team that puts the ball in play a lot. Maybe they were facing the Nationals version of the AAA because they didn't get a lot of strikeouts this week, but some pretty good results overall for A.J. Smith-Shawver and Hurston Waldrop, at least in terms of not giving up a ton of runs. That's something that J.R. Ritchie has done an amazing job of coming back from Tommy John surgery. He got the bump up to Rome in his first start there. 6 innings, only 3 hits and a walk, 1 earned run on a solo home run, and 4 strikeouts. Not a lot of strikeouts either for J.R. Ritchie, but a really good outing for him, going 6 innings and his first start at Rome as he's moving on up. I love J.R. Ritchie. Can't wait to go back and watch his starts to see if that velocity comes back. If it does, I think J.R. Ritchie is going to really shoot up some prospect rankings. Nacho Alvarez, just 3 for 15 this past week, 2 walks and a stolen base. He left Saturday's game before even recording it at bat, so hopefully there's nothing else going on with Nacho. If it is, the second year in a row, really, that he's kind of missed some time in the second half of the season. So that concerns me a little bit for Nacho, but hopefully nothing there. Drew Hackenberg, 6 innings, 4 hits, 5 walks, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout. That was his AAA debut. Drake Baldwin, 4 for 21, a double, a home run, the game-winning shot on Sunday. He also had 2 walks and a stolen base. Going over to Gwinnett, Chadwick Trump, who is, in my mind, maybe one of the best third catchers that isn't on a big league roster in all of baseball. He had a good week, 8 for 22 with a double and a home run. This season, he is hitting .332 with a .906 OPS. So he has been really, really good this year. He's not coming up to replace Travis d'Arnaud or Sean Murphy, nor does he need to. But in case of emergency, Chadwick Trump is certainly right there, playing really well and having a good season if you need him. Glad the Braves were able to hang on to him. Andrew Velasquez and Brian Anderson also had a double and a home run this past week. And then Ian Anderson on the mound, 4 innings, 8 hits, 4 walks, 5 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, one of his worst starts as he works his way back. I still think he's probably next man up if needed, but that certainly was a rough outing for him. At Mississippi, Yolbert Sanchez, 8 for 17 this past week with a double and a home run. Cal Conley continues to play really well in the second half here. 4 stolen bases this past week, also with 7 for 25 at the plate with a double and a home run. Now on the pitching side of things for them, and I'm looking this up on the fly, so forgive me, I forgot to write this down. Young Carlos Lara, 2 starts this past week, 10 innings, 6 hits, 9 walks, still struggling with those walks in command, but only 2 earned runs. Somehow you walk 9 batters over 10 innings and only give up 2 earned runs. I think that tells you how good the stuff is. It's just, can he locate it? And 9 strikeouts for Giancarlo Lara. Lucas Braun with another good start, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 earned runs because he gave up 2 home runs, but 8 strikeouts. Drew Parrish, 4 2/3 innings, 4 hits, no walks, no earned, and 7 strikeouts. Landon Harper, 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 6 strikeouts for him. So that's all. And Ellison Joseph, another good bullpen arm. He gets 2 saves this past week, 3 innings, no hits, did walk 2, but no earned runs and 4 strikeouts. That is certainly a relief arm I think you need to keep an eye on in the Braves system. And then at Rome, Drew Compton, he was 5 for 19 this past week with a double and 3 walks. EJ Exposito, 5 for 19. He had 3 doubles and 4 walks. He's had a good season. Colby Jones, recently drafted. He already got moved up to Rome, playing second base there. Didn't have a great week, but I at least wanted to mention that he already got moved up. And then you had Ambioris Taveras. He's back from injury again. Not a great week, but good to at least see him get back out there, have some good at-bats. He was swinging the bat really well before he got injured earlier in the year, so hopefully he can finish things up strong here. Blake Burkhalter, I keep wanting to make him a reliever, and he keeps showing why he needs to be developed as a starter. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, no earns, and 11 strikeouts. So a really good week for him overall. Mitch Ferris, 10 innings, 8 hits, 2 walks, 3 earned, and 7 strikeouts this past week in 2 outings. Adam Meyer had one of his best outings in a long time. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, no earned, and 7 strikeouts. And then Corey Wall out of the bullpen, 4 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 1 earned. Gave up a solo home run, but 7 strikeouts. He has a 2.93 ERA on the year, 1.15 whip, and 80 strikeouts in 76 2/3 innings. 8th round pick from last year. Been going back and forth from starter to reliever. At Augusta this past week, Junior Garcia, 7 for 16 at the plate with 4 walks. John Gill had 5 hits on the week and 3 walks, as well as 3 stolen bases. Will Verdung, 5 for 17 with 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. Luis Guanipa continues to struggle in full season ball. Again, very young, but he has been struggling so far. Just 2 for 11 in 3 games this past week, 2 walks to 5 strikeouts. Henrik Hernandez, who the Braves just drafted out of Miami, he had maybe the best professional debut out of anybody. 3 2/3 innings, no hits, no walks, no earned, and 7 strikeouts. So what a professional debut for him. Again, the guy out of Miami that a lot of people are pegging as somebody that could be a reliever. But again, great start, but obviously very small sample size there for Hernandez. But can't do much better than that for him getting things started. We already talked about Cam Caminiti and his start to his professional career. Carter Holton, 2 innings, 1 hit, 4 walks, 3 earned, and 3 strikeouts in his professional debut. So that's everything happening down on the farm. Again, let me know who you're most excited about. Had some good stuff obviously happening there, but minor league season coming to a slow close really quickly. And we're going to end here very quickly with some news. John Brebbia and Eli White, those were the guys who were added for the September call-ups. They DFA'd Zach Lowe. Guy never got a chance, unfortunately, but we'll see if he's able to stick around. Brebbia in 2024 with the White Sox, a 6.29 ERA, a 1.42 whip, 26.9% strikeout rate, though, is really good, and 7.9% walk rate is okay. Fastball slider guy, neither has elite whiff rates, but again, he does get a lot of strikeouts. Why not Daysbull? Well, just simply, it's depth. You went out and got a veteran guy in Brebbia who has good strikeout stuff. Daysbull's going to be there if you need him. But I'm kind of at the point where just put your best guys on the roster. Just put your best guys on the roster. That's all I'm asking for. I don't think it's too much. And the Braves signed Tyler Mathick to a minor league deal. We talked about this the other day. I think I got asked on our mailbag podcast if the Braves would sign him, and I said it would not surprise me. And here we are. If anybody was going to take a shot on Tyler Mathick, it was going to be the Braves. He signs a minor league deal. He'll be in Gwinnett. And the Braves traded Yuli Gurriel to the Royals for cash. So a trade. Yuli hadn't been on the major league roster all year, so he was still eligible to be traded as a minor leaguer. So that's how that deal gets done. So a lot happening over the weekend. Not a lot of good happening on the field, but a lot to get to, and a big week coming up. We're going to talk about it a lot tomorrow. This is the stretch coming up for the Braves where they have to do some damage. We'll see if they're able to get it done. So make sure you're subscribed here to Locked On Braves, where you get a lot of good coverage as we go down the stretch here in the final month of the season. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you're new. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast. And we will talk to you next time.